This episode of the Get Snap podcast is being brought to you by BaDD, your taste buds' favorite energy drink. If you're looking for an energy drink that contains no calories, no sugar, no maltodextrin, no fillers, and no artificial colors, then BaDD is the drink for you. Plus, it's formulated to give you the focus and the energy you need with no jitters or no crashing. So what are you waiting for? Use the link down in the description box. Use the promo code BADSupermanTV and get 10% off. You'll thank me later. And on that note, hey Smooth, go and hit our theme music. It is the Get Snap podcast. It is your boy, DarnellSparrow, a.k.a. the Bad Superman. The notorious P.I.M.P. Antoine Smooth is with me. What's going on, man?
Man, what's going on? How you doing?
Man, I'm a little sad today. I think you know why. And for those that don't know, we lost another one today.
Yeah, man.
We lost another legend in the business. We lost the wild-eyed Southern boy, the young pistol, FBI, Shaquille Ali.
Yes.
You know, we lost Tracy Smothers today at the young age of 58 years old. And you know, it's one of those things, man. We just losing legends. What was one of your memories? I mean, first of all, have you ever met Tracy Smothers? Let's start there.
Yeah, I met him. This was a long time ago. I think this was around when USWA and Smoky Mountain had their rivalry going.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I posted on Facebook not too long ago. It was around 1994, and I was sitting, with it. Yeah, I'm going way back.
Yeah, you're going way back.
And you know the seats where the aisle is, like right there.
Yep.
I was sitting there, and as a 14-year-old me, I couldn't stand Tracy Smothers. I kept insulting him, and finally he had enough of me. So he came down right there where I was at in the alleyway. He said, "Let me tell you something, kid." He said, "Look like a big piece of crap, and your mother made love, and out came you."
Wow. Oh, and yeah, that's straight heel Tracy then.
Right. And that told me, but looking back on it now, he's one of the most underrated heels in the business.
Oh, no doubt about it. Underrated heels, probably one of the nicest people to meet.
Right.
If you go on social media and look, nobody is saying a bad word about him. I mean, he's wrestled everywhere. He's wrestled damn near everybody that you could think of, from the big names to your indie guys. Because I remember, I think I first met him, I believe you was with me. It was a Mid-South Coliseum show. I think it was around, 2003-ish,
right,
I want to say.
Right, yeah.
That's when he was rocking. That's when he was rocking the Sellout Smothers shirt,
right?
Which I wish I still had. Probably couldn't fit it, but I wish I still had it.
Yeah, I still got it. Yeah.
And I say now I met him a few months, before COVID hit at the Omen Arena. He took a picture with my son. I mean, yeah, he may be a bad guy, but he's, like I said, one of the nicest people just to talk to.
Right.
I mean, you follow his career, man. He's been around a long time.
Right.
I mean, him and Steve Armstrong been teaming up way before WCW.
Right.
Before those Southern boy days that we knew him as. So they've been doing the Alabamas, Tennessees, Kentucky. They doing all those areas. Then when they hit WCW, then again, WCW became the Southern Boys, became the Young Pistols, won the United States Tag Team titles.
Right.
And he just been touring all over the world. I was looking at a match with him, actually. He was actually wrestling Masato Tanaka.
Right.
So you could just imagine, how that went.
And then we can't forget also, He was also Smoky Mountain heavyweight champion and a tag team champion with the Dirty White Boy. They were called the Thugs.
Yep, you definitely can't forget about that. I mean, he definitely has a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
I would say a Hall of Fame resume.
Oh, absolutely.
And I hope this weekend. I'm sure they got a lot of shows going on. I know, of course, I always talk about the USA Wrestling have shows going on tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday.
I'm definitely thinking they're gonna do tributes to Tracy, no doubt.
They have to.
Mm-hmm.
I know, because he was a big prospect around this Tennessee area. He would definitely know.
And then you hear some of the vets talk about how knowledgeable he is and of the business.
Oh yes.
And he said he has helped a lot of careers out. So rest in peace to Tracy, man.
Yeah, definitely. Rest in peace to Tracy. Of course, it is our Wednesday night Q&A. Was gonna go a different route, but I got so busy, so had the questions. No, we gonna stick to that platform. I'm actually right now just getting caught up. I saw a little bit, excuse me, of NXT's Halloween Havoc. I saw the end of it. I hope Candice LeRae is alive.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you this here. They stuck true to the Halloween Havoc and Shotzi Blackheart in that devil outfit. Lord, she was yes.
Yeah, from what I saw, they did an outstanding job. The Cameron Grimes, Dexter Loomis storyline, they nailed it with that. I was very impressed with that. That's why I called it at.
Mm-hmm. And I saw the whole show, and they stuck true, man. Spin the wheel. That was the same wheel they used back in the day, the exact same one, but they changed it up a little bit. And it ended with Shotzi's choice, between Candice LeRae and Io Shirai. So, but yeah, man, other than that, it was a great show.
So I'm gonna get caught up on that. I'm watching Dynamite right now to see, what they are pretty much up to. But we also got some more breaking news. It's actually one of the questions, and I'm kind of glad. I'm a little disappointed because I remember I told you that USA Championship Wrestling is doing an all-women show this Friday night, and they were bringing in Camille and Thunder Rosa. Well, for those who didn't know, Thunder Rosa is no longer the NWA Women's World Champion. Serena Deeb defeated her. And if you saw Dynamite, which was a spoiler, but you already know that, you would know that she is the new champion. So, unfortunately, Thunder Rosa is not coming into Jackson with the title. Still going to be a great match.
Yeah, is that she's WWE bound.
Right, and that was actually going to be one of the questions, but let's just kick it off with that one since we're talking about it. They were talking about her going to AEW and the WWE. Looks like she is going to be WWE bound. Now we've seen her in AEW. WWE do her well, and if so, where would she go first?
I think she's going to NXT. She needs to stay there. She don't need to go no further than that. Because if she does, then I smell Vince, he'll give an idea and then just forget about it. He's not interested. So if I was her, I'd stick to NXT. So.
Yeah. See, my concern is will they keep her Thunder Rosa?
They have to.
That's my biggest thing, because they want to trademark everything.
Right, because the only ones that didn't get it was Shotzi Blackheart. See, she been Shotzi Blackheart everywhere, and so they didn't change her name. Johnny Gargano didn't change his name. Candice LeRae didn't change her name. The only ones really was like Damian Priest.
Dexter Loomis.
Yeah, Dexter Loomis, formerly Sam Shaw.
Yeah.
Damian Priest, formerly Punishment Martinez.
Got Cameron Grimes. He had a name change.
Yeah.
ACH when he had a name change.
Jordan Miles. Yeah.
So that's my biggest concern. If I had to decide, I would think she'll be a better fit in AEW. I think she'll have better competition there.
Yeah.
And I think Roberts, but and like I said, her momentum wouldn't go away.
True.
But like I said, if she goes WWE, keep her as is. Because in person, she's hilarious in person.
Yeah.
I mean, she's very cool. She doesn't act like a wrestler.
Right.
Okay, somebody just told me something goofy. I don't know what that is, but we're gonna surpass that right now. But let's get into some of the other questions. We got Survivor Series coming up in a couple weeks, and of course they're going with the SmackDown versus Raw concept. Why NXT is not involved in this, I don't know.
I think they are. They just, that's one of those wild cards. NXT. I think they're gonna be involved. They're just not pushing it.
Because they pretty much won last year. They were like, okay, y'all did one, that was good enough. But the question that we got on it, what are your thoughts on the champion versus champion matches that they have? And for those who don't know what we're talking about, we're gonna have the Street Profits against the New Day, tag team champions. SmackDown Women's Champion versus Raw Women's Champion. Asuka versus Sasha Banks. Intercontinental Champion versus U.S. Champion, Sami Zayn versus Bobby Lashley, and Universal Champion versus WWE Champion Roman Reigns and Randy Orton. Let's break those four down. Let's start with the tag team match. I think that tag team match is probably going to steal it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's one of those you can't pick them kind of matches. It's gonna go either way. That's the one I definitely want to see. I mean, we even talked about it, I believe, on one show. That was that what if moment.
It's gonna be entertaining always. You know how they.
Oh yes. It's gonna be very entertaining. Yeah. Now, when you talk about Asuka and Sasha Banks, I'm gonna say this on this match. I think since Sasha just won the SmackDown Women's title, Asuka can afford to lose, and still have momentum. Now, see, if it was Bayley, it'll be a different story. But they need to keep Sasha hot right now, especially leading into her next feud, whomever that may be. Now, Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley
mismatch.
Yeah, it's a mismatch. I don't see him. I know. Well, I did that back. I do see him trying to pull tricks up his sleeve. But you're dealing with the Hurt Business. Yeah. I see retribution coming in somewhere in that match.
And it's gonna continue their rivalry, and who knows where that's finna lead? Because Mustafa Ali. They've been beating him down for weeks. So we're going to see how this going.
Right, now, let's focus on this Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton. On paper, and maybe you disagree with me on this, maybe you won't, but that's pay-per-view quality match.
Of course.
It's pay-per-view quality.
Right.
Here's the problem. You got two heels. You got Randy Orton just won the WWE title. You have this new version of Roman Reigns. I'm trying to figure out how they're gonna make that work.
Yeah, that ought to be interesting. Now, of course, Jimmy and Jay is gonna come into play in this match. Because you remember now, they have to fall in line and do what he tells them. And so he may order them to attack Randy early, or, they're going to be hesitant, at first. So I'm thinking that.
Right. That's why I'm interested what's going to happen Friday night on SmackDown, to see what, the Usos have to say about it, at least what Roman Reigns have to say. Yeah, that's going to really tell us exactly that quote-unquote fall in line
And don't
thing.
forget the Fiend too.
Definitely. And I believe that was actually a question on here because somebody wrote it. Did I write it down? Did I save it? Okay, there it is. What do you think? We talk about the Usos. What do you think fall in line is going to entail?
Just pretty much, if Roman tells him like go attack this guy or whatever, they have to do it. You know, pretty much doing what he says do. But then eventually it's going to, you know, fester, and they're gonna actually keep doing it and keep doing. They're gonna actually like it. It's just building up to them actually, you know, teaming with him, and they're gonna finally like it. But as far as that goes, you know, they just pretty much doing what he says do. You know, so.
Because I remember we talked about it. You know, we talked about would this lead to a Uso breakup, and you know, from what I've read, it may come off like that
Yeah.
at first, but at some point they're gonna, you know, be back together as a team and just kind of slowly just kind of fall out from
Yeah.
Roman. But let's get into the next question. What are your thoughts on Shorty G finally going back to being Chad Gable?
Finally, I was like, when is I like finally, you know, they need to do that because I wasn't feeling that to begin with. It didn't make sense to me. I mean, Shorty G, I mean, what is that? You know, why he can't just be Chad Gable? Why can't he be himself? The dude can wrestle, you know.
Oh
You know,
yes.
he can work. So they should, like I always said, me and you talked about this. They should have never broken up American Alpha at all because it messed it up for
No.
both of them, especially with Jason Jordan, you know, with his neck and everything, man. I feel for him.
But you know that might be but it might be a blessing in disguise because now that you know Chad Gable's going back to himself, he's going back to who he is. Why not bring Jason Jordan back? It's like his coach, like his managers, pretty much
Right.
have his back. Would have made better sense if Kurt Angle would have been in that
Yeah.
mix.
Because like bringing back
It
you
would have
know,
made
Team Angle, like, yeah.
Team Angle.
Hmm.
I mean that would bring him like Chad Gable's an
Right.
Olympian. Now that'd be what he do. Would he do kind of like a Kurt
Right.
Angle ish
Maybe.
gimmick?
I believe so. And he is jacked now. You seen him? Oh my
Oh
goodness.
yeah,
And yeah, I think he could probably do, you know, go back to his old self, you know,
back to go back, break out, go to the old music, break
right,
out the towel.
Ready, willing, and
I,
Gable.
I
Yeah,
mean, I mean, push you
right,
to the dance.
right,
So we definitely got to keep posted on that. Give them new music, Titan
right.
Trunk, get all that. But let's go on to the next question. Thoughts on James Storm returning to Impact? Should he get right immediately in the title picture?
Not yet. I mean, let him build himself back up. He don't need to jump in right feet first already. You know, I mean, he's back home. You know, so yeah, just let him slowly, you know, have matches, and then he can build himself up to face whoever it is, Rich Swann or Eric Young or whoever. You know, I don't think you need to dive in feet first right now.
Right, but you know how they are. You know they're gonna take care of the what do we call them? The Impact Legends or the originals. That's the
Hmm.
word I was looking for. Which I'm actually glad he's back. I'm a little disappointed again that he's not in the NWA because I actually enjoyed him and Eli Drake
Right.
together. But who's to say Eli Drake don't come back to Impact? I mean he was world champion
True.
there. I missed the Facts of Life. I missed that Facts of Life show he used to do.
That crowd hated his guts for
And you
that,
know,
man.
like
Yeah.
Eli Drake in person is hilarious. So when I met him at WrestleCon, I took that picture with him when he was trying to yank the
Hmm.
NXT title from me. Dude's hilarious, and then when I knew he was there,
And I was talking to his, I guess the guy that handles his money and all that. I was like, oh, I said, shoot, I actually wanted to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
He told me to wait. He actually went and got
Oh,
him.
really?
Cause I was the first one. Yeah, I was the first one at his table.
Mm-hmm.
He actually went and got him. Cause he, gave me autograph and took the picture. Then he gave me another one. Had to pay for the autograph and the picture. Then he just gave me another one.
Oh,
He was like,
okay.
here you go. He gave signed one for me and signed one for my son. But I want to tell folks something. You ever do a WrestleCon event, make sure you got a lot of money on you because you're going to need it. Because between autographs and pictures and merch, yeah. Good thing they had an ATM machine out there, but yeah, make sure you save money and make sure you raise enough because you're going to want everybody's autograph. Everybody's
Right.
prices is different. But I mean, just going there just to see them,
Right.
just to look at them. I mean, it was just at all.
Try to go to one of those one day, hopefully.
I might say seeing Shawn Michaels in person, Bret Hart in person.
Yeah.
Just having had a conversation with MVP. I mean, legends on top of legends. I mean, the Young Bucks line was so long, it was pathetic. Their line was damn near out the building. Okay, we already talked about the Uso thing, how we're gonna fall in line. Okay, since we stick in the SmackDown, let's talk about this Tucker thing. With Tucker going back to SmackDown. How long should this feud with Otis last?
I know this is gonna be short term. It told me then what's the point of having the draft?
Right, that's the $1 million question.
It's gonna be short term. Don't worry. It's you'll see it come and go when people forget about it.
Right. I mean, you took the money in the bank. You took the money in the bank off of Otis. You put on the Miz, and let me address this. I'm gonna throw a question in there. This is Q&A, and I thought about this. I mean, Miz pretty much told the story himself. But do you see Miz cashing in that Survivor Series?
It don't matter who's champion, neither. He'll do it to anybody.
I really, yeah, and I think he gonna okay. I see him cashing in on Randy because Randy's not beating Roman.
Now remember, he cashed it on him before.
Right, and I know he keep throwing that wrench at us like he's gonna do it again. I mean, it'll be the perfect time to do it, especially with this Roman Reigns, and now he's laying people out. It'll be the perfect time for him to do it. Because I've been saying it. It's about that time for Miz to get a world title back on him. He put in that work. He earned it. I mean, he's done so much for the WWE. He's been one of those faces. He made the IC belt look good. Him and Morrison about to get doing a dirt sheet. He can cut promo. I mean, he has what they're looking for. So why not give him, even if it's a short run? It's been a while since he's been WWE champion. Let's put the belt on him. He'll make it look good.
Like always.
We talked about Thunder Rosa, Paulie going to WWE. And like I said earlier, my concern is with the name change. I wouldn't be surprised they change her whole look.
I hope not.
I know she go to AEW. That's not gonna happen. And I know they'll push her correctly
because they don't care about trademarking and all that. They just want you to be you.
Right. And that's one of the things I actually like about AEW. I mean, they give guys opportunities, even if they go on there to just lose. That's why I like AEW Dark so much. I mean, they'll put about 20, 30 matches on there. I mean, you'll see a lot of guys, they'll go on there, they'll show their records, but they go out there, they perform. Right. And a lot of those guys, you'll see in small indie promotions, you see them on AEW, like, hey, I just saw that guy.
Even the big is on there as well.
I mean, look
like Kenny Omega.
Right. And then what's good about AEW Dark, those guys are getting at some point getting the push. Prime example,
Man, I
look at
was just
Will
about to
Hobbs.
say, yeah.
Will Hobbs was on Dark, losing matches, and
Very
now look at
impressive.
him. Now, how far will they take him? Don't know, but it's just good to see that they taking those guys and doing
And
something
then
with
now
them.
he's working with Taz and his crew, and Team Taz. Yeah, so
Right. Now, one of the flaws I have, I mean, you got a guy like Pillman.
yes.
You got Brian Pillman Jr. I mean, he's a dark guy. I mean, when he was in MLW, he was part of the Hart
Mm-hmm.
Foundation, which, by the way, they need to get back. They need to come back. I know MLW is about to start back up again. I don't know if Brian Pillman Jr. is going to go back there, but they need to get back together again.
Him and David Boy Jr.
David Boy Smith Jr. They had Teddy Hart, but Teddy Hart is pretty much in his own way, and really,
Right.
and in life. That dude is too talented to be getting in all this trouble. Let's jump into Impact. We mentioned it when we talked about the Bound for Glory show. We talked about the Kylie Ray deal, and those I'm talking about, Kylie Ray was scheduled to face Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockouts title. She didn't show up for whatever reason. Su Yung came in, and she won the Knockouts championship. There's so many reports. Some say, she was there for the show. Some say, she's okay, she's alive and well. Do you think this is a shoot or a storyline that why she didn't show?
I don't know. It may be a work shoot, maybe. Because like I was saying in the previous podcast, Su Yung is back now. So she could have been probably the one that attacked Kylie or whatever and put her out. And then interjected herself in the match. That's just my opinion, I think. But
and that's the route I
yeah.
was gonna go with it. But they started involving like people she
Yeah.
know. They haven't heard from her. People try to reach out. They don't know what's going on. By the way, it's the way I read it. Something's not right. So it's kind of a weird situation. Of course, they had to react to it and have Su Yung come in and win the title. Now, was Kylie Ray supposed to win the title? That was
No.
We don't know, but they quickly got it on Su Yung.
Yeah, that's a question.
So we definitely have to stay tuned on that because I'm interested to see what is the outcome of that. What really happened. They say, is this a work? Is this a shoot? Let's talk about a little Ring of Honor. Marty Scurll was removed from the Ring of Honor roster. There was no reason as to why this happened. He was, part of the creative team. So he's not there for whatever reason. Where should he go now?
Well, he could go to New Japan. I could see him going there. As far as AEW, the only reason I say if he go there because he's real cool with Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega and all those boys, the Elite, when they were all the Elite.
Yeah,
because it's the buddy thing over there. But as far now, if he went to WWE, I think I know Regal is a huge fan of his.
All right. Oh, if he goes to NXT, he'll be sitting on top. Right. He go to NXT. Well, if I had to decide, I agree with the New Japan thing, but I think he needs to go to the NWA because we didn't get that second match with him and Nick Aldis, because the pandemic shut that event down. And I know him and Nick Aldis, real life are friends. And if you remember the first match they had, they nailed it. So if I had to choose, he needs to go to the NWA. But I remember when Marty Scurll was in TNA and they were doing, what was it called? The British Boot Camp with him and Drake Maverick. It's just funny to see him now as the villain, bearded up. Don't even look like that same dude from back then. But I'm a fan of him. I'm a fan of him. I was a fan of him. I was a fan of Villain Enterprises.
Loved his entrance. Had a nice entrance.
But I did, yeah. Had the nice theme. He had the umbrella and everything. Had that the little bird mask. So had to choose NWA because we have to see it. We have to see him in Nick Aldis. Let's see here. So we're gonna go back to Impact, and we're gonna talk about Heat. Now, thanks to Rhino, Heat is now with Impact. Fortunately, he got injured during that Call Your Shot gauntlet match. Don't know the severity of it just yet. But it just amazes me, like, guys win titles, get injured. Guys, especially when they're in a good storyline kind of situation like this, they get injured. Sometimes it doesn't even pay to get pushed. So what are your expectations of Heath being in Impact? Do you see him and Rhino being tag team champions there? Or do you see them at some point, feuding with each other?
I probably see them as tag team champions. To be honest, and they actually have a good chemistry together. They really do. I don't know if people notice it, but yeah, they work well together.
It's weird. It's weird, but that's true. The first ever SmackDown tag team champions. I'm surprised they're still talking about the fact he got kids. So they didn't really take away his gimmick too much. They just took his. They just took his name. He just not Heath Slater. Just Heath.
His real name Heath Miller. Yeah.
Right. But I see them at some point going at each other because he could be like, I used you to get an Impact in some aspect, especially when it comes down to that trophy, because now Rhino has a shot at any championship at any time. Now I think that's where it's really gonna start to get interesting because he might have him say, "Hey, let's go after the tag belts." But of course, Rhino wants to be part of the Impact World Champion because he hasn't been World Heavyweight Champion since when he was NWA World Heavyweight Champion?
7 or 8, something around there.
Yeah, when it was, that was around that time. Let's talk about Matt Riddle.
Okay.
But this is in a 2-question format. One was him getting called up a mistake, and should he go back to NXT?
Yes, and yes. Because look here, ever since he's been on the Raw, once again, it's like Keith Lee, but not as bad. They can't figure out what to do with him. They just putting him in these matches, and there's no substance to it. They just put him here, and that's it. He needs to go back to NXT, really, to be honest.
He definitely needs to go back to NXT. Then you move when he was on SmackDown. I didn't really have no issue with it. I think that probably would have fit him a little better. You moved him over to Raw.
He didn't even get his feet wet yet in SmackDown.
No. You're moving him Raw for the purpose of what? Then you have a Survivor Series qualifying match. I would have thought he would have won to put him in, but no, they put Sheamus in.
So Sheamus, he didn't, he been there. You know, he's a vet now. You can call him a veteran now. You know, and so
Oh yeah,
be
no
him
doubt.
being the veteran, they should have let Matt Riddle beat him and push him, but they didn't do that, and I don't understand it. He should have won that. I was kind of upset about that, to be
No,
honest.
yeah, I was too. Yeah, Matt Riddle. And that's why I was a little disappointed they didn't put
Yeah,
NXT in the draft. Cause we could definitely had a lot of those guys. Just like prime example, Chad Gable. Chad Gable could have went down to
right.
NXT. Probably could have been North
He would
American
have had some
champion.
good rivals.
I could have saw him. I could have saw him and Johnny Gargano having a good feud, especially now that. Well, if you don't know, Johnny Gargano is once again North
Yeah,
American
Damian
champion.
Priest, he just won that title. I didn't understand that. I thought he was gonna retain. But and then Candace, yeah,
That
and I don't know if you've seen that match yet
I,
with
I
Candace and Io.
yeah I saw. Yeah, that's what I talked about earlier
I'm like,
when she got knocked off the ladder and she went clean through them clap that ladder split. And that's why I
yeah,
said
I'm
I
thinking
hope
about
she's
then
still
Io
alive.
won retain. I was kind of confused, you know. Like what? I thought they were gonna do that power couple thing, you
So
know?
it's
Yeah.
Candice LeRae. So it's Candice because there wasn't talk that Candice that first time Johnny Gargano getting called up. Candice, I would want to see Candice LeRae getting called up.
Pretty
I mean,
much.
she's done enough in NXT. She can push up, but we all know if anybody's probably gonna go next, it's probably gonna be Rhea Ripley. But if she goes, she
Right.
got to come full
It's can't
strength.
right.
She got to come at least. She got to
Right.
walk
She
in
can't
a good feud with
be
somebody,
treated neither. Right.
and it got to be with a player.
Oh, of
You got to
course.
finish that with Charlotte.
And this can't be no, you know, you do something and then you just drop it. You know, they normally do that now. It's like, okay, I'm not interested in her now. You know, like Vince. You know how Vince is now.
Right,
Yeah,
because he'll give up on
and
you
that's what
quick.
I'm afraid of.
Yeah, but see, the good thing about
True.
that, Triple H got her back.
Yeah.
That's gonna be her saving grace. We had another fan, he asked us, what are your thoughts on drive-in wrestling shows? Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a few companies that literally have a ring in an area and you take your car. It's like a drive-in theater, but
Right.
you're watching wrestling from your car. I know, Booker T's promotion, I know he did it. I know there was a couple of events in Georgia. I saw that they did it. Matter of fact, I think the Good Brothers were part of one of those shows. But what
No
do you think
problem with
about it?
it.
What are
I
your thoughts
mean,
on that?
it's like, it's entertainment. Like you watching a movie. It's just a ring right there. So yeah, there's no problem. It's the same thing. You sitting down, you eating your popcorn or your hot dog or whatever. You just in your car watching it. So it's all good with me.
Right, and I give companies credit just for, finding alternative ways to put on shows. That's the big thing. I say they got
Right.
the coach, they got the barricade around it. I mean, there's not a lot of, high fiving and stuff like that, but people are still out. They still draw some nice fans, and everybody's still having a good time.
Right.
Everybody's eating, the merch getting sold. I mean, sometimes you got to do what
And
you got to do.
it's interesting. I'm just
And
sitting there in my car, sitting on my hood or whatever, and just watching the wrestling matches. Yeah. What's wrong with that?
no, definitely. We talked about the Good Brothers here a few seconds ago. I like how they how we segue and love it. And they talked about should the Good Brothers make Talking Shop of Mania
No, I
a
don't
real
think so.
promotion?
Oh, they don't need to do that. Nah.
And I thought that was I ain't gonna say interesting, but I thought that was cute though. Yeah, we can just pass that one up. I mean, y'all could do the little, the little pay-per-views. Everybody be in different characters. Cause, like I said, if you haven't seen Talking Shopomania, it's on YouTube.
What you Chad
Go
Too
watch
Bad
it.
and Tex
I said
Ferguson. Yeah.
Why? I'm like, they took guys, took a lot of indie guys, put them in different characters. Which, by the way, maybe majority of that roster, Boss Man Wrestling McRob was made as an action figure. That was the part we talked about that when we first started doing. We talked about Talking Shopomania. He made about 80% of that roster.
Oh my goodness.
As an action figure. And Gallows and Anderson being one of them because I have it. Because he did a Bullet Bullet Club set with Gallows, Anderson, and AJ. Then he came back and did a Prince Devitt. That's Finn Balor, for those who know what I'm talking about.
Wow.
But yeah, he did about 80% of that roster. That part was super cool. But let's go back to AEW. Let's talk about the Young Bucks. The question was asked, and these are a couple of AEW questions I might ask, so we're going to talk about them. The question is, do you prefer the Young Bucks as baby faces or heels?
I think that's probably an obvious question. I see them as baby faces. I don't believe them as heels. I mean, anywhere they go, people flock, Like, anytime they go to autograph signs and stuff, line is long for miles, And so, yeah, they need to be baby faces. I don't believe them as a heel. I can't.
I don't either. And then when they're baby faces, they're more creative.
Seriously, yeah.
Can you remember? Forgot the AEW event when they came out and then Kenny Omega dressed like Street Fighter and had the referee go round one
Kenny
fight.
Dressed up as Akuma, yeah.
I mean, yeah. I said they're way more entertaining as baby faces, but I see they're trying to swing them heel. So does that mean FTR is gonna go baby face?
They got Tully with them. No, absolutely, positively not.
No,
Tully Blanchard is with them.
I definitely agree with that.
He's the heel of heels. Yeah, no, yeah,
right. He's what Shawn Michaels say. He's that cool bad guy.
Right.
He that you hate, but you want to be him. And sticking with AEW, the question was: should Brandy Rose keep wrestling?
She loves it. She loves doing it. She mentions it a lot. They interview her. She said she loved it. She loved doing it. It's something new. It ain't the same person. Like each time you see. She with the Nightmare family. So, why not? I don't mind seeing her. She's decent.
I might say, my thing is, if it's something that, like you say, if she wants to do it and she's trying to get better, then yeah. I mean, if you're just doing it just for TV time and your husband run it and they're just letting you do it,
I think she generally loves it. Yeah.
I mean, because I can see the improvement. I mean, she still have her hit or misses here and there, but she's improved. But like I said, if she is doing this to say, I'm gonna get better. I want to be women's champion at some point, so I'm gonna keep pushing hard. Then yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Is this all about how determined you want to do? Let's see what we got here. Next question is: should Raw, SmackDown do a War Games or should NXT exclusively have it?
That was easy question there. NXT. First of all, you did just Halloween Havoc tonight. You done War Games. Starrcade. I say you can put that main roster. Keep that main roster. Yeah, all like the stuff that WCW had, all Dusty created, they need to be on NXT. You know, Great American Bash, all that stuff. Yeah.
I agree. No,
Right.
give the NXT guys something to. What's the word I want to use?
And it's
Work hard for. Because the main roster, they have all the big pay-per-views. You have your Survivor Series, you have the SummerSlams, WrestleManias, the Royal Rumbles, this, that, and the third. And like I say, NXT is
right.
pretty
And
much
see, Triple H is
that was
paying
Dusty
homage to
Baby.
him each time he does that.
And like I said, when they did the Dusty Rhodes Classic, they gotta give NXT something to work with. So no, and if they do something like that, let's just say they actually put it on a main roster event. You're gonna have to come hard. You can't just throw names in there.
Right.
You got to put some big time names to make it work. I mean, even if you have to pull a Saudi Arabia and get some legends involved, it's gonna have to make sense if you bring it on the main roster. Keep it on NXT, and I hope they do that soon. Now, here's a good one. Now this I know we got an old school fan, and you probably can answer this. We've seen him here in Memphis. What are your thoughts on Mr. Hughes?
Mr. Hughes, man, I remember my first time seeing him was I want to say 89. Yeah, when he was the big cat. And he was in the AWA too.
Yep.
But I mostly know him from WCW. But looking back now, he was also the big cat in AWA. Hey, he was a good worker. Still is. Had ring psychology, all that. Huh?
I think they had
Yeah,
the
which
big
was
cat
that was actually
team
a
up with
good
the
team.
Motor City
They could have
Madman.
really pushed that, but
Yep, he
bodyguard.
was Lex Luger's bodyguard. Then he went to ECW, became the Roughneck Mr. Hughes. And then, as he got older, he got more jacked.
Yeah.
And I think as he got older, he got better. So the only part of me dude I didn't like when he had the flat top with the glitter vest when he was a Chris Jericho bodyguard. So, a lot of people forget that. And then they know he came to Memphis Wrestling. Corey McAfee kept messing up his move, and he had to keep correcting.
That was funny.
They're like sidewall slam, Corey.
He stole the Undertaker's urn.
I mean, yep. I'm saying, you big and bad when you wrestle with suspenders, the long sleeve shirt,
actually, yeah,
and glasses. But then when he got older, as time went on, he cut the sleeve. When them guns got beat, cut them sleeves off, so them big guns.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm like, he was the black Big Bubba Rogers.
Still wrestling to this day.
Still wrestling to today. Have a training school, and I actually know a couple of guys who actually went to school. I want to say I might be wrong, but I believe it's in Georgia.
He trained a lot of people. He trained Apollo Crews, Heath Slater, and even Dexter Loomis, Sam Shaw. Trained him.
I said I know an individual. He goes down there often. They don't have a bad thing to say about Mr. Hughes. They say he's a real damn good trainer, and say he don't train to get you ready to be a star. He trains you to be a professional wrestler. A lot of people kind of making that face like I don't get it. I mean, if you want to train, what are you training to do? What is your mission when you get into this business? I mean, I want to train to be a professional wrestler. I can do the rest on my own.
Right.
And I can build.
So you got to get the basics down first. Once you get the basics down, then everything else will come into place.
Right. I mean, but
Right.
I mean, if I can't wrestle, what's the point? So when they say you don't know a wrist lock from a wrist watch, that's
Right.
a truthful statement to make. Because if you don't know the difference, I mean, if you can't do something as simple as running ropes, falling correctly, how to get up, how to do a simple head lock, wrist lock. I mean, those basic elementary moves that they teach.
Right.
And some people cannot do that. I mean, you can look good all day, but if you can't play the part, that's a whole nother story. We got a Memphis fan. And the question is, could Memphis be a hot spot without Jerry Lawler in it?
No, I don't have to say I don't think. There's no thinking that. No, it can't. It wouldn't be. Jerry Lawler, he was pretty much Memphis wrestling. I'm talking about. He wrestled everybody. Anybody that was anybody came through. They went against Jerry Lawler. Ric Flair, Harley Race, Jack Briscoe, Dory Funk Jr. Handsome Jimmy Valiant. The list goes on and on. Nick Bockwinkel. Yeah. So no, it wouldn't have. It would be just like a regular regional territory.
Right, and that's the key word, territory. Right. See, every territory
that's
had
like
that dude.
Eddie Graham. Right. It's just like if Eddie Graham was not in Florida, what would it be?
If Eddie Graham wasn't in Florida, I mean, Dusty was down there. We probably would never know who Luger was.
Mm-hmm.
We probably never know who Ron Simmons was. I mean, you got to think about that. See, like the Carolinas, that speaks for itself. NWA Jim Crockett.
Right.
You go back up to Minnesota, you got the AWA. Of course, back then, New York was WWE.
Like
before I went to Connecticut. Right. Then you go down to my neck of the woods, Mid-South, go down my neck of the woods. You got Texas, their territory. See, everybody had that territory or had that dude. You come there, you got to face this dude, like world class. You got to go through the binaries.
Like if you went to like Nick Goulas and stuff, you had to go through like Tojo Yamamoto and Jerry Lawler and all them other guys, Yeah.
Yeah, you went to St. Louis. You had to go through Harley Race. So no, I think Memphis would have been a spot to come wrestle, but I don't think Memphis wouldn't have been as big. Because this is, and anybody can argue this point with me, this is one of them. Memphis, Tennessee is a wrestling capital of the world, or one of them. I mean, again, you said it earlier. Anybody that was anybody, if you came through Memphis, one, you're going in the Mid-South Coliseum. And you gonna wrestle, especially if you a big name, you gonna fight long.
Like in Mid-South. Like Mid-South, you had to go through what? Bill Watts
because I know Memphis
and Hacksaw Butch Reed and JYD, especially JYD.
You had to go back then. You had to go through Devastation. You had to go through the Freebirds. I mean, Dr. Deb Williams, one of those Ted DiBiase back then.
Yeah.
Dick Slater. I mean, Jake. Jim Duggan.
Jake the Snake.
Pork Chop Cash. Yep, yeah. Who else? Savannah Jack. I mean, we can go all night. I mean, then you had people that came down, like the Rock and Roll Express was down there for a spell. The Fantastics.
Right.
You had the Sheep Herders, like we talked about them on a previous podcast. So yeah, which goes back to, again, a question we talked about that somebody asked: should territories come back?
I don't really think so, because it was different back then than it is right now. Because right now, You just have, companies, just putting on shows, right? So if anything, territories like the NWA, like they working with AEW right now, it could do it like that, do talent exchanges, you know, but not territories because it
Right.
was different back then. Yeah.
That right. Say from a territorial side of it, if they do that, if they're not trying to look for TV deals, then I wouldn't have a problem with it. If they just just want to stay independent and not trying to invade, it wouldn't be big. I can't get my words out. It won't be a big deal, especially depending on the state. 'Cause if you got a state like Texas, so you got Houston, Dallas, San
Oh yeah.
Antonio, Fort Worth, they can branch out.
Hmm.
Cause it's like Booker, he got his promotion outside of Houston. I said, and they probably like had to have like local TV deals, stuff like that. I wouldn't mind, but if you're not trying to take it like WWE style, AEW style, I wouldn't mind seeing it. Because especially if you one of those who like to travel and
Yeah.
do all these shows or like to visit these shows,
Now, like you said,
nothing
Texas
like
can
having
do it. Because I
a
know
good
there's a
variety.
company out there called DFW out there in Texas. That's the one where Sir Mo runs. And shout out by the way to Danny B's
Yep.
son, Danny Brown Jr. Yeah, he works there now. You talk about his daddy
Hmm.
personified. DJ Brown, he is really
Yep.
talented. He works up there in Texas. He been working the Texas territory, and I mean he been getting good reviews by everybody.
Hmm.
He can work. The dude can work. One of the best out there right now.
Uh, that's a big
Yeah,
endorsement. I haven't got the opportunity to see him wrestle live. I've seen a
yeah.
few
DJ
matches with
Brown. Yeah,
him and
come
his
out with the
dad.
chucks and come out with the
But
nunchucks.
there
Either
was
come
there
out
was
to Revolution like his daddy, or he'll come out to My Prerogative. Most of My Prerogative by Bobby Brown. So yeah, I'm telling you. But yeah, man,
boy, he
he's
wasn't
good
even born
talent.
when
One
that
of the
song
best
was
out
out.
there right now.
Um,
They were
I believe they
they were
were
the
telling
hot
him the
steppers,
hot
and
steppers.
he calls himself the last hot stepper. So everybody, y'all check him out. Yeah.
Okay, so
Hmm.
there you go. Check him out, DJ Brown. So I
Yep.
know we worked with his dad, before in
Yeah.
different promotions. I've actually had an issue with him when I first got into the business. That was
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah, I definitely got past that. But it's good to you know have your children do what you do and actually is going through the motion to do it. You're not just throwing them in.
Yeah.
You say that's my son. I want him to wrestle.
All right. That could be a
'Cause
future
especially these
topic
days, you
for
got
us.
to put that
Children,
work in.
the legacies like children in the business.
Oh yeah, I already have that on one of my list
Yeah.
of topics. I'm just
Right. You wanna be-
doing a little bit more research
Right.
on it. So I want to be as clear as possible, especially when you're talking about second generations and the third generations. And one of the questions I'm really want to discuss is why is it so hard for the generations
I don't think the
to
reason is
do
they'll never
what the
be like
originals did?
their father or mother or whoever. You know, it's just not that. It's just not possible. That it never happens. They never surpass. I see one person, and there's Charlotte Flair. She's the only one I see right now that's up there with her
Right.
dad. But everybody else, Curtis Axel, he that's the one that disappointed me the most. I mean, you are the son of Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig. one of the greatest technical wrestlers out there.
I said, but right, and you wanted to be your own man, which is fine.
Maiden name, yeah.
When you was Michael McGillicuddy, which I believe is your mother's maiden name. I mean, that's fine. You want to be your own man. No harm in that.
Now I can understand that because his dad, his granddad is Larry the Axe in it. I see that.
But everybody know. I mean, you had your dad's, you modified your dad's theme.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, you should have been the new Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't have to take the name, but you could put the singlet on. Did the
grow your hair out just a little bit. Yeah.
With the perfect play.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you had Paul Heyman.
What happened with it? I don't understand.
And then, like I said, they give people to Paul Heyman. And then when they start doing stuff,
yeah,
you end up just kind of pushing them away. Let's see what we got here. Just somebody sending me a mess. But that's definitely a topic we're gonna have to talk about because there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of people don't know, or there's a lot of people probably forgot about.
Right.
And then we could definitely talk about, what could have been done to get them on that level of their parents. So like you said, no one that really did something like major was Charlotte. But there's probably going to be some arguments on some names, but we could save that for another topic. Cause like I said, regardless of topics I want to start doing, just want to make sure what we doing, we nailing, we nailing them, we nailing the facts, we hitting those pinpoints.
That was safe.
But that's pretty much it for tonight. Time be flying on the show. Time be flying on the show. But see, that's what makes this show what it is. And we have support of the Get Snap Galaxy. Y'all bring them questions in. And it rolls right into the enough time we get them all in and we definitely talk about them. So we definitely appreciate you guys. And like I said, when we get to episode 30, that'll be our season finale. Then we're going to get into season 2, where we're going to change it up a little bit. I said we're still going to talk about wrestling most of the time, but we're going to talk about some other stuff too. We definitely need to, change the pace a little bit. We're going to get some guests on here.
Right.
Get some guests on here, talk to them, see what they got going on. Cause I said, people in the game. I know people in the game. Cause there's a couple I know I can get on here. Just time. They're busy. We all got lives outside of this, but I promise you this: when we get to season 2, we definitely gonna have a good time doing it. But until then, until you hear from us again, I'm gonna give me something to eat, and I'm calling it a night. We'll finish watching the rest of AEW Dynamite. You guys be safe, and you guys in the Louisiana area, please take care of yourself. Hurricane Zeta is coming through there. Last time I read it was a Category 2, and I know some people are already losing power. So, please be safe, be careful, listen to the news, don't try to be brave. And if they say go, you go. Go somewhere, go to a shelter where, you can definitely be safe. This is hurricane season. So you can't play around with this. And like I said, let people know, let your friends know, let your family know, Let somebody know that you're okay. If you need them, pick up that phone, email, do something.
That's right.
We don't want to get, the last thing we want to get is bad news from anybody. And yeah, I kind of ended on a note, but it's just something that needs to be said. Like I said, we care about people that's out there. Like I said, I was a Katrina victim. I know how I feel. I had to learn to put my pride to the side and ask for help. But I got it. And you guys need to do the same thing. I mean, look out for each other. You don't have to know that person, but look out for that person. But yeah, we gonna shut it down on that note. I'm gonna, if anything happens between now and then, we'll come on and we'll talk about it. We get any information if you guys want to help. The victims. Hopefully, there's no damage, anything like that. That's what we're here for too. But until then, thank you guys for listening to us. We definitely appreciate it. We love y'all. I know y'all love us back. That is
Peace.
the Get Snap Podcast. And as always,